Everyone, welcome back. I'm Akanksha and today we'll be solving number of islands. This is again one of the most frequently asked questions in interviews and it is one of my favorite question. I don't know, I love doing this question. So in this question, there's a grid given and we just have to calculate the number of islands. One contributes to land and zero contributes to water. So the consecutive ones or the ones joined together is said to be one island, while if the ones are not connected, for example, in this second question, so it would, the question in this question we have to treat it as different islands. For solving this, we'll be using depth first search and let's begin. Just for the edge case, let's say if my grid dot length equal to 0, then although it don't say anything, but let's just return -1 here. Always ask your interviewer for these edge cases like what you want to return. Now let's traverse through each element of this grid. This is the most simple way of traversing through each element, right? J is less than grid of I dot length and J plus plus. Oops, where did my cursor go? Okay. Again, since we have to return the number of elements, so instead of count, let's say result, and let's initialize it by 0. So we'll be keeping track of result and at last we'll be returning this. So if my grid dot I comma j equals to 1. Again, notice since the grid is of type char, so don't get confused with integer and char here. So if I get this, so I'll say result plus plus and I'll call my helper method here. In this helper, I'll be passing the position I comma j, then the grid. Yeah, that's it. These are the things that I'll be passing, and after this loop, I'll be returning result. Okay. Now we have to actually write this helper method. So private, I won't be returning anything. So void helper. Now int I, int j, and again char of grid. So whenever we call a recursive function, we always write the edge case. So we'll write it. So if my I is less than 0 or I is greater than grid dot length, oops, or j is less than 0 or j is greater than, actually just not greater than, but greater than equal to, and again here j is greater than equal to grid of maybe 0 dot length, because it's a grid and we are sure how it will be. Or the other can be if my value at this particular position is equal to 0, then just return. If not, then we'll modify the element, because we need to keep track if we have traversed through already this element or not, and we'll update it by 0. And again, for the recursion, let's call this helper function plus 1 j and grid. Let's copy this here 4 times, because we'll be moving around this particular element. J plus 1 and j minus 1 here. Okay. And when nothing is here, so it would again return to this helper function and it will traverse through the other elements. Let's see if it works. Okay, it does here. Let's submit and see. Oops. Okay. So they are expecting 0 islands where we are returning actually -1. That is our bad. And that's good. So again, we have used DFS here in order to solve this question, and we traversed through each element. Again, for the worst case scenario, maybe we'll be traversing through all the elements in order to get the number of islands. So the complexity of this will be linear, where O of that is O of n, where n is the total number of elements in this particular grid. That's it. Thank you so much.